Now it's very important. This part you have to spend some time and focus very well, because this is now teaching you the meditation. How do I now slowly learn to withdraw? The whole life is about withdrawal within. It's not about running outside. It's about turning within is the spiritual path. Worldly path is turning outside. Running outside is the worldly path. Spiritual path is turning in. So now there are two shlokas which are very important, 10th and 11th shlokas. And I will explain to you also once we chant the shloka. After that we'll go word by word and understand. So here Yama is telling that this is the methodology to control the senses and the mind and the buddhi, and finally realize the Atman, and ultimately realize that you are Paramatman, not the Jivatman. You are not the reflection of the sun in the pot, you are the sun itself. This understanding how to develop gradually, shanaihe, step by step, Yama is teaching. That's why Yama is a very good teacher. See, he is saying, how do we start? Where do we start? So let's begin. He says, Indriyebhya parahyartha, arthebhyascha param manaha, manasastu para buddhihi, buddhe atma mahan paraha. The 11th one is, Mahatah parama avyaktam, avyaktat purushah paraha, purushanna param kinchit, sa kashtha sa paragatihi. So these two shlokas you have to take in tandem, because they are connected to each other. So it is giving you a step-by-step ascension into that state of Brahman. How do we realize? Remember step-by-step ruin of life? Dhyayato vishayan punsa sangaste shubhajayate sanga sanjayate kama kama krodha krodha sammoha smriti vibrama buddhi nasho pranashyati. These are the 8 steps how you can go down. And here are the steps how you can go up. So very important steps. You watch this. First it says, compared to Indriya parahi artha, the objective of the Indriyas, for what sake the Indriyas are given, they are more great than the Indriyas themselves. You want to see something, the idea of seeing something is more powerful than your eyes itself, because if there is nothing to see, what was the use of the eyes? Like that, if there is an object to be seen, that is greater than the physical eye, it says. Because without that object, the eye has no reason to exist. It exists only to see. So seeing is more than just the physical eyeballs here in the eye sockets. These are just the matter. The idea behind this matter called eye is to see. You have an ice cream and you want to see that ice cream. What happens? The image is formed within your retina. An inverted image is formed. And then that image is analyzed by whom? Is it enough if you have an object to see and if you have an eye? No. Then it says, Arthebhyascha param manaha. Artha means for whose sake eyes are. Vidyarthi means whose sake Vidyarthi is for? The sake of Vidya. So Vidya is the Artha for whose sake Vidyarthi comes to the school. To learn Vidya, Vidyarthi comes to the school. So Vidya is the reason why Vidyarthi come. Therefore Vidya is greater than Vidyarthi. Is it or not? Likewise, sense objects are greater than senses, he's saying. Because it's for the sake of sense objects that these senses work. It's the sake of education that the student comes. But what happens to these senses? Where are they? How do we understand these senses? Through the mind. You may say, no, I understand it through the brain. But no, it's not true. Brain is again the hardware only. It just stores. Mind is the reason why you understand everything. In the mind you see. Where do you see things? Not in the eyes, not in the brain. You see it in your mind. I'll give a small example. You close your eyes and think of an ice cream. Can you see that ice cream? You can. Last time whenever you ate that ice cream, you can see that ice cream. It was in a cone or it's in a cup. You can see the ice cream. It means what? Your eyes are not open, yet you are able to see something. Yet you are able to hear something. You close your eyes and remember a song that was sung yesterday. Your ears can still hear it. Like that, all our 5, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, all these 5s are capable of doing what they are doing only because of mind. Now see the logic. Objects are the reason why senses exist. Eyes, ears, nose and all that. But these senses software is Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. And these are installed in the mind. The package called mind has all these 5 softwares. So mind is greater than the sense objects, he is saying. Because the perception of sense objects happens through the mind. So mind is greater. So go one step further. Greater than mind is buddhi, because buddhi analyzes. Mind only is a data collector. It will collect the data and keep it. Who analyzes this data? Buddhi analyzes. It says this is an ice cream. That is not an ice cream, because buddhi remembers from the chitta. It recalls from its stored memory data bank. What is this thing? Data bank says, I have 5 pictures to show which look similar. One is an ice cream, another is a, let's say a pencil box, third is a water bottle, fourth is this, and then buddhi says, no, this is ice cream. See, all these analysis happens in your mind very, very quickly. When you ask for something, when the buddhi wants to know what it is that I am seeing, immediately buddhi is going and checking with chitta, the memory bank. And chitta throws up 5 things. From far, suppose you are seeing a boy coming. You want to know who it is. Now your buddhi will immediately remember all the boys who look like that boy, whomever you have seen so far. So from a distance of 250 meters, your buddhi will go to your chitta and tell me who this boy is. See, eyes have seen the boy, mind has analyzed that eyes are seeing and got all the impressions to itself. Now buddhi has been given the impressions to analyze and find out whether this boy is Sunil or not. Now buddhi will go to the chitta and give me all the pictures of the boys who look like this. He says, yes, Sunil looks like this, also Amit looks like this, also Rajesh looks like this, also some Anil looks like this. So it will throw up 4 pictures in front of you, your chitta. And then as the boy is slowly approaching, your analysis is becoming clear. The buddhi is observing. Rajesh is same height but does not walk like this. Anil is almost the same skin tone, but not this dark, but similar darkness. Then slowly this will come to a conclusion. This is that boy. All this happens within our mind, like a software system, this mind, which has got a memory bank called chitta, which has got an analytical capability called buddhi, mind itself. All this happens very fast. So who is doing this analysis? Buddhi is doing this analysis. So greater than mind is who? Buddhi. Now where is this buddhi coming from? He says, Manasastu para buddhi, buddhe atma mahan paraha. From the buddhi, the greater than buddhi is the atman. Which atman? The jiva atman. Remember we told the sun's reflection within you, of the big sun outside that is reflected in you is a small sun. So that consciousness, the part of which is in you, and expansion is everywhere, that consciousness allows your buddhi to discriminate. It's like if I switch off the electricity, can the computer hardware software work? Everything will go off. Likewise, this consciousness energizes, powers this buddhi and allows this buddhi to analyze and think. So this consciousness which resides within us is the reason why we can think. If buddhi can think, mind will understand. If mind understands and carries on the command, sense objects and senses will be understood and experienced. Without this consciousness, it won't work. So consciousness is the reason, and all these are connected. Consciousness is connected to buddhi, buddhi is connected to mind, mind is connected to the senses and the sense objects. It's a connection. If any connection breaks, like somebody goes into coma, consciousness is there, prana is there, mind is also there, buddhi is also there, but this connection has snapped. Some virus in the hardware, therefore software and hardware are not talking anymore. The eyes, ears are not talking to the mind and buddhi anymore. Even though current is there, everything is there, but some virus has got in. Like that, a state of coma is something where this connection snaps between the object and sense objects and senses and mind and buddhi. Because of that, when you are drunk, what happens? The connection between your buddhi and mind snaps. Indriyas are there. You know, hand, legs, eyes, ears, everything exists. You are not in a coma. But you do whatever, you have no control over your hand, no control over your leg, something is happening. Why? Because the connection between mind and buddhi is broken and mind and senses has become loose. Your limbs have become loose because mind is unable to control them. And mind is unable to take instructions from buddhi. Don't drive, you have drunk, if you drive you'll meet with accident. No, nothing happens, I will drive. Then you have no control, steering is going this way, that way. So many accidents in the world happen because of drinking and driving. What has happened to them? Their body has become out of control, dushtashva. Mind has become weak because of drinking. And because of drinking, mind is unable to listen to buddhi. When buddhi is saying, don't go, rather hire a taxi, a cab, call your friend, but don't drive, they won't listen. They'll take off and then they go and meet with an accident. So buddhi is greater than this, but buddhi itself is energized by the Atman within all. So is that all? The meditation? So I come out, I meditate like this. Objects are there, but the reason why these objects are seen is because of my eyes. But eyes don't see this. The faculty of vision sees it, and that faculty of vision lies in my mind, so I am the mind. Then you say, but mind also does not function on its own. The intelligence behind the mind is the reason why I understand the world. So intelligence is deeper than the mind. But intelligence itself is not all. It is powered by Atman. Therefore, Atman is greater than the intelligence, so I must withdraw into the Atman as myself, the reason behind everything that I experience. Is that all, or is there more? So it continues from there in the next shloka. From 10th it goes to the 11th shloka. It says, from this Mahan Atma, which is what we have realized so far, by withdrawing from the sense objects, mind and buddhi, finally have reached the status of an Atman called Mahan Atma. That the great soul which is within us, the consciousness which is within us. Is that all? It says no. Mahataha parama avyaktam, it says. Mahata is the body level Atman. Above that is an unmanifest Atman. This is the manifest Atman, we call it. Why? Because we experience it within our body. But where has this come from? It has come from a higher source of consciousness. That is called the avyakta, unmanifested Atman. And from avyakta Atman, the unmanifest Atman, greater is the Purusha, that is the Brahman. Brahman has no manifestation or an unmanifestation. It is beyond both. Neither you can say it is manifest nor it is unmanifest. It is, that's all. There are no attributes to Brahman. It is. It is awareness, consciousness, it is. How it is it a male or a female? We can't say. Is it intelligent or dull? We can't say. Is it happy or sad? We can't say. It is. Asti. So that is the nature of Brahman. So highest is the nature of Brahman. Now how many steps you have gone? You have gone from Indriya to the Indriya Arthas, Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha. From there you have gone into the mind, third one. From mind you have withdrawn into Buddhi, fourth one. From Buddhi you have withdrawn into Mahanatma, fifth one, the individual soul or Jivatma. From there the sixth one is says that Avyakta Atman is there, unmanifest Atman is there. From there you are withdrawing into Parama Purusha, the ultimate Brahman, in 7 steps. And after that there are no more steps, it says. This is the final level of withdrawal that you can go. Discarding everything, keep coming in, coming in, coming in. Finally you will reach a stage which cannot be discarded. You can discard your coat, you can discard your shirt, you can discard your banyan. Beyond that, can you discard yourself? You can't. Like that, you keep discarding the external appearances and slowly come within and within and within till you reach the stage of Supreme Brahman, which cannot be discarded any further. You remember we had done this exercise of a man in a handsome coat, then he was removed, then flesh, remove that bones, remove that atoms and molecules, remove atoms and molecules, space. At the end, what is left is only space. That space is consciousness. Is the space blue, green, red? No, it has no color. Is the space long, short? No shape. Is the space old or new? No time, no age. Is the space here and there? No, it's everywhere. This is the nature of the Parabrahman which we all are made of. But on that Parabrahman, all these upadhis are there. What are upadhis? Avyakta Brahman upadhi is there. Then Mahana Atma upadhi is there. Then Buddhi upadhi is there. Then mind upadhi is there. Then senses upadhi is there. Sense objects upadhi is there. All these upadhis have covered the Brahman completely, which is otherwise just the nature of unmanifest space. So I will explain to you this whole thing based on Aitreya Upanishad. It's a little deviation from KATHOPANISHAD, but it's a nice peep into Aitreya Upanishad. Aitreya Upanishad comes from Rig Veda, the most ancient text. It talks about various levels of existence. One is at the Jivatma level. But beyond Jivatma, what exists? You remember we told just now, but something greater exists than our own Jivatma also. That greater thing is called Virata. Just keep a note. Virata, greater than Virata is Hiranyagarbha. Greater than Hiranyagarbha is Ishvara. These are the three levels of Brahman only, which is modified Brahman. These are all called manifested Brahman. These levels are there. Virata, Hiranyagarbha and Ishvara. Beyond that is the unmanifest Brahman. Now we will go and understand what are each of these levels. Why are they called the way they are called? So let's begin from the very beginning. Aitreya says, Atmava idameka evagra asi na anyat kinchina mishata sa ikshat lokan suja iti. This is the very first mantra of Aitreya Upanishad, which means in the beginning there was this Atma alone, which is the Brahman, Supreme Brahman. Na anyat, nothing else was there which winged. Means no other individual, no physical manifestation, nothing. It's just pure consciousness, but it knows it is there. But how it is there, long, short, happy, sad, no description. It is, that is its ultimate description. Satyam, Sat means it is. It alone is. Now it thought, I am alone, let me create the worlds. That is the thought that came to this Atman. Like you are simply sitting in the house. Then you think, let me eat. The moment the thought comes, let me eat, then action begins. What if you go to kitchen, either cook for yourself or go to canteen, take from something. So this, you were undisturbed, peacefully sitting at home without doing anything. Now you got a thought, disturbance began. What is the disturbance? Now your body has to get up, it has to move and start thinking, analyzing. All these come into existence after you get a thought. Till you have no thought, you are just pure consciousness. That is what I was telling the other day. When you don't supply any thought to your mind, the samadhi state is very close to pure consciousness. You're completely the same as Brahman. But that lasts only fractions of a second. Even thinking that I am thinking, I am meditating is also a thought. So it gets negated. So it's very subtle. Even thinking that I am not thinking is thinking. So that is the problem why meditation gets spoilt and fails. A state comes when there is no idea that I am thinking or even meditating. It is happening. That state is Brahman. That is not so far. It is within you. It is your experience, but you don't realize it. As I always say, between two thoughts, there is a gap. In that gap resides Brahman, I say. When you shift attention from this mic to this tumbler, I saw it, it's a black mic. Now I'll shift, it's a silver tumbler. Between the two shifts, there is a gap. Do you realize that? Obviously, it has to be because I saw this, now I'm seeing this, I analyzed this, now I'm going to analyze that. Between the two, there is a micro, whatever, the pico, femto, whichever meter gap is there. In that gap, you are not thinking at all. If you dilate this whole gap, that existence without thought is Brahman. Otherwise, the moment thought enters, Brahman is disturbed. It's no more Brahman. It can't be called Brahman. It is a modification of Brahman now. So pure silence is Brahman. That's why Om Upasana, the pure silence you have to meditate on, where there are no thoughts also. Not even the thought that you are chanting Om, not even the thought of the... But in the beginning it is difficult, so we tell you, okay, at least start practicing silence. Someday this idea that I am practicing silence will disappear. How it will disappear? When you started walking. If you walked a few steps and everybody clapped, you became so happy. I walked 4 steps today. You were the talk of the town. You were on Facebook, on Twitter, everywhere that you walked today. Today when you walk, are you even thinking that I am walking? You're not even thinking. Walking is happening. Walking is happening. It's not a conscious effort to get up and say, now my legs, let's get ready, I must walk. It's unknowingly just get up and walk. That's it. Walking is not the main activity. Going to canteen may be the main activity. But walking is not the activity that you are paying any attention to anymore. It is happening. Likewise, meditation will start happening. Silence will start happening. This understanding will start happening after you have practiced it for a long, long time. But initially to walk you will fall. You need mother's hand, father's hand. You need objects to hold, touch the wall, sofa, furniture. That's how you have walked. But once this walking became natural practice, now you don't even think you're walking. Your walking is happening on its own. Likewise, this meditation all is an effort right now. But once it becomes a part of you, once it becomes a natural habit for you, meditation will keep happening even when you're moving around, doing your thing, the meditation is happening within, that I am Brahman. Other things are all external. Like while walking, don't you talk while walking? You talk. Don't you eat while walking? You eat and walk. Don't you sing while walking? You sing and walk. Don't you see while walking? You see and walk. So seeing, singing, talking, hearing, smelling, all this is happening, even while walking is happening. And where is your attention? You're not paying attention to walking. Walking is happening. And these are the things which are superimposed on walking now. Like that, world will happen, your office will happen, your studies will happen, your every activity will happen, but also meditation will happen. That stage will come with continuous practice. So this is one practice is teaching, to withdraw and say who you truly are. So again, going back to Aitareya Upanishad. So Brahman was sitting all alone. I can't even say sitting because he doesn't have legs and hands and no chair to sit. He was. Brahman, I can't even say he was. That's all I can say. Brahman was. So Brahman was, then he thought, let me create the world. The moment he thought, now his new name is Ishvara, is thinking Brahman. The moment he thought, he became Ishvara. Like the moment a man gets married is called husband. Husband is not a new man. It is the same man, now by virtue of marriage is being called a husband. Like that, Brahman by virtue of thinking is called Ishvara. This Ishvara means the Lord. He is the owner of everything. Why? Because he created everything. Ishvara had a power called Maya. What is Maya? The knowledge that you have how to cook upma now because you are hungry. That knowledge is your Maya knowledge, Maya Shakti. Thought is, I want to eat. That is Ishvara. You own the whole kitchen, so you are the lord of the kitchen. And now you have the Maya Shakti, you exactly know how to make upma. Take what and put when, everything you know. So that Shakti he had within himself, like you have within yourself the knowledge of making upma. Like that he had this knowledge, this is called Maya Shakti. So he told to himself, Sa imam lokan srijata, let me create world, he said, and created world. And what all the worlds he created? Like upma needs ingredients to create, he created 4 ingredients. What is that? Amba, Marichi, Mara and Apaha. Amba is the heaven above, which contain the clouds, they say. What clouds? Gaseous clouds, not the water clouds. In the beginning was that nebula and all that universe and galaxy you've heard about. So there are clouds there, that kind of a space. And then he created the space in between where light travels. Then third he created is the matter, the earth. It has to be considered as matter, solid state. And apaha, liquid state. Now you think of this as an ingredient of creation. What all is there in this world? Energy and matter. Matter exists in gaseous state, liquid state and solid state. Now compare that with these 4. The highest was the heaven. Then Mara and Apa. These are the 3 states. One is gases. Clouds means what? Gas basically. So Amba was the gaseous state. Mara, the earth, was the solid state. Apaha, water, was the liquid state. And all this existed where? In the space, which is energy. So out of energy only all the matter came about. This is the idea of Aitareya Upanishad, if you want to simply put it very scientifically. There was nothing, only energy of Brahman was there. This energy transformed into matter. So now what all came into picture? The energy itself, which is the space, the matter in 3 forms, liquid, solid and gas. Gaseous is the Amba, the earth, Mara, is the solid state, and Apaha, water, is the liquid state. So that is how God created these 4 elements in the beginning by His own power. Now you will ask, how did He create? There was nothing, no. There was energy of Brahman which always was. That's why energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. That is the idea. And E is equal to mc square, relativity. Energy is matter, matter is energy. So earlier Brahman had what with him? He had this energy of existence. That energy converted itself into matter and energy. Matter part of Brahman is this, Apaha, Mara and Amba. Space is that in which all these 3 exist. All these matter together, how did it look like? It looked like a cosmic egg, it seems. That's what they say. So now you heard about Ishvara, the previous one. Once he created the lokas out of himself, like a spider creates a web out of its own. It doesn't need to go to a hardware shop and buy some steel rods and things like that to create its home. A spider creates out of its own self. Like that, the example is given in Vedanta, that Brahman created all the matter out of the energy that he always was. Now this matter looked like a Hiranyagarbha, egg-shaped. Egg is the perfect shape. The balance of forces is perfect in an egg shape. That's why you always remember why these hens and peacocks and everybody who produces egg, why don't they produce some rectangular eggs or cuboidal eggs? Because ellipsoid is the best shape, the most perfect shape in the universe. That is why Lingakara, we worship Lingam. Because Lingam is an ellipsoid shape. An ellipsoid shape is the first manifestation which could be felt. Before that, Brahman was just an experience. Now the first time all the lokas, the solid, liquid, gaseous states of matter and the energy that binds all the matter. Which are the energies? Unified field theory, gravitational energy, electromagnetic energy, strong nuclear force and weak nuclear force. These four kinds of energy is the space that we are talking about, which binds the liquid, gaseous and solid states of matter. So that's how the universe began, they say. So far so good. Even scientists say that from nothing came out all these things. So far. So this is what he is saying. So this egg-shaped was called a Hiranyagarbha. And then what happened? He thought, what next? Now I have got this Hiranyagarbha, I have created all the matter and energy. What next? He thought. And by his mere sankalpa, he doesn't have to do anything. He just does a sankalpa and everything happens. His sankalpa siddha. Tapo tapyata means, tapa means he's thinking. He saw this, what he has created, and is thinking, what should I do with it? And as he was thinking, in his thinking itself, what happened, like an egg that breaks open, small holes started appearing on this Hiranyagarbha. The first mouth appeared, it seems. The Hiranyagarbha is starting to become some kind of a shape now slowly. A shape is emerging out of Hiranyagarbha. What is the shape? First thing it seems, a mouth opened from that egg-like cosmic material. And from the mouth came out fire. It means heat came out. Means some reaction must have happened. A lot of heat got generated. A lot of light got generated. Which is still happening even today in the universe. So that mouth. And in the mouth entered the fire, they say. Fire came out of the mouth of this first entity which is being created. Next, nose split. Nostrils like that. 2 holes split near the nose. And what came out of that? Air came out. Prana is the deity which came out from there. Next, eyes split open, it seems, of this great cosmic fluid like being. And the eyes were the organs of sight. And who occupied the eyes? The sun came out of the eyes, they say. Sun is not the physical sun which we are seeing now. Sun is the idea of light with which we see. So that light came out of the eyes. Then the ears split open of this cosmic egg. And from the ear came the sense of directions. See how correct it is. With ear only we know the directions. How when you are falling, does your ear not tell you that you are falling? In the ear there is a fluid which tells you that your fluid's gravitational balance is moving in a wrong direction. So you are going to fall now. And that's how you put your hand and stop yourself. So ears know the direction, up, down, front, back, whatever. So that's how directions came out of the ears of this cosmic being. Next is the skin came out of this cosmic being, the skin. And what came into the skins? All the plants and trees. The hair grew out of the skin and from there emerged the plants and trees, he says. Like the skin of the earth is grass and plants and trees. If you remove the skin of the earth, what is there under? All hot lava is there. Melted magnetic core is there. But out of that, as if the skin of the earth is the soil and from the soil come the plant and trees, just like from our skin comes the hair. The idea is that. So skin came out of that liquid. And then in the center of that cosmic being, heart opened up. And from this heart emerged mind, it seems. Mind is the capacity to analyze, understand, which contains buddhi, chitta, ahankara, everything. So this mind appeared and moon appeared out of the mind, it is said. And again, moon is not the physical moon that you see over there. Moon is the idea, the lord of thinking. The one which thinks and rules the mind is called moon. Because mind undergoes changes. Moon undergoes changes. Shodasha kalas are there for the moon. Like that, his mind keeps changing all the time. So it has been compared as if the moon has come out of the mind. And the stomach, the navel opened. And in the navel entered apana vayu, that power which helps us to excrete everything out of our body. Anything that has to be thrown out of the body is done by a power called apana. So that power entered the stomach, and also the lord of this area was Yama, because he takes us out finally from this body, as if ejects us out of this body. That's why Yama, the lord of death, also appeared. These are all forces. Don't think of these lords as hands, legs and eyes and nose. No, they are all forces of nature, which is creation, sustenance, thinking, or digesting, excreting, or killing, destruction. All these forces came out and they occupied. After that came the organs of reproduction, like holes they opened up in this cosmic egg. And there who occupied? Water god, god of water went and occupied. Because we know all our genital fluids or seminal fluids are all fluids, they are not solids. Unlike excretory, reproduction is fluidic. Therefore, they thought of it as water, which is and also we call water is life. Without water, we cannot survive. Body is 70% water. And everything, all raso vaisaha, everything is essence is water based. So they thought the life is water, and all that reproduction that happens here onwards is fluidic. Therefore, god of fluid, that is Varuna, occupied the reproductive parts of this cosmic being. And that's how this whole cosmic being got created. Now, did it have hands, legs and all? There are no descriptions. Only descriptions of it is, it has got mouth from which fire came out, eyes from which sun came out and the faculty of vision, nose, prana came out and the faculty of breathing, and the heart from which moon came out and mind came out, and navel from in which apana resides and yama came out, and the genitals from where the liquid god, that is the Varuna, was residing, and skin from where all the herbs and plants came out. So this is the original idea of the first creation of nature's forces. So they call it a Purusha. In that time, the Vedic lore, it is called as Virata. Virata means huge, expansive. Huge means it's not a small, tiny being. It is pervading the entire universe. In Purusha Suktam also, the description like this comes. Sahasra Shirasha, Purushaha, Sahasrakshas Sahasrapad, Sabhumim Vishvato Vritva Atyatishta Dashangulam, it says. 10 fingers more than the entire Vishwa is Purusha. Means all the Vishwa is inside this Purusha. So that is the Virata Purusha concept. It is not Vishnu Bhagavan that we are chanting. We chant Purusha Suktam to Vishnu Bhagavan, but true Purusha Suktam is only to that Purusha who has no identification with anybody. It seems as if it was the first being that emerged out of nothing. Because so far Brahman was actually nothing, Ishvara was the thinking Brahman, Hiranyagarbha was the material Brahman. Virata is the first Brahman who has faculties like seeing, thinking, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching. All these things are generated for the first time. Before that there were no senses, there was no mind, there was no buddhi. There was only consciousness and energy, and came matter. From matter came a being who had all these forces of nature and faculties. Okay. So next level is, from this Virata, Brahman thought, now what should I do next? Like children are there, give them some assignment, they'll finish. Now what? They'll ask. And from this idea, what should I next? He thought, now I've created all the lokas and I've also created lokapalas. These are all lokapalas, the Chandrama, the Surya, the Yama, the Apana, Prana. All these are lokapalas, means the in charge of those lokas. What next? He thought. And then he thought, let me create hunger and thirst, so that there is some work to do. If there is no, suppose we were never hungry and we were never thirsty, you think we would ever worked in this world? And hunger, thirst is not about of the stomach and throat. Hunger and thirst of senses. I want to see, I want to smell, I want to taste, I want to touch. If they were not created by God, you think we will be struggling in this world for anything? Because nothing tastes, we don't have any interest in anything. Because we were given hunger and thirst, which is basically desires of the senses. The temptations or desires of the senses. For whose sake the senses? Indriya Arthas. So he created Indriya Artha. What is that? This one. Hunger and thirst for the stomach. Similarly, wanting to see, tasting, smelling, touching, feeling, hearing. All these are Indriya Arthas he created. Now Indriyarthas got created. Now where should they go and stay, these Indriyarthas? They need Indriyas to stay. See, so far Indriyas have not been created. So far only the faculties have been created. The physical Indriyas have not been created. Don't confuse the Virata Purusha as your own shape and size. No, it is not that. Virata Purusha is a cosmic, fluidic, gaseous being who has now developed all these powers. Powers to see, powers to hear, taste, smell. But he doesn't have any physical body. He doesn't have a physical body like yours and mine. So he created, now Brahman did what? He created all the faculties. And then he created the hunger and thirst in those faculties. Hunger and thirst, that is why I am coming to this shloka. Indriyarthas he created. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha he has created. Now where should they reside? Now he is first time creating a physical being. So he told all these devatas. That is why Indriyas are also called devatas, because they are born out of these devatas. So he asked these devatas, what kind of place do you want to go and live in? So the Indriya Devatas said, please give us something to go and live in, because we have no body, we have no facility to live. We are just forces of nature, but we cannot manifest right now. We want to manifest because you have created hunger and thirst. We want to satisfy that hunger and thirst of seeing, touching, tasting, smelling, eating. Please give us some place. So he said, let me create something. And he thought and thought, what should be the good shape for a person in which all these can stay. So it seems he first created a horse. And said, horse is a good being, all are you happy? All of them said, no, horse is not the best creation. We don't want to settle down in a horse and eat grass all our lives. So they told, no. Then he said, okay, let me create something else. And he created a cow, it seems. He told, is cow a good thing to go and stay? All the Indriyas, all these devatas said, no, we don't like this cow also. Then he thought, what shall I create? So he created a human figure, it seems. And he told, it has a head and 2 hands and legs and stomach and all these nose, eyes, ears. And he said, is this a good thing where you want to go and stay? All these devatas said, yes, this is the best creation. They liked. So Aitareya Upanishad says, of all the creation of the God, human creation is the best creation, where all the devatas are the happiest to stay. They are not happy to stay in an animal body. They are not happy to stay in an insect body, in the body of a bird. So fast forward, human being got created, and the idea is what? That human being is the best place for gods to stay. So that's why all these Indriyas are gods. This is sun god, this is moon god, and there is Yama in us. There is all gods appear in us. So he said, okay, let me give you this abode to stay. Now where do you want to go and stay in this human body? Immediately the sun rushed. I want to stay in the eyes. So like that everybody rushed. Sun rushed saying, I will occupy the eyes. And sun went and occupied the eyes, became vision. So that is how we see. When sun rises and the light comes, only we can see. Then what happened? This prana, life breath, it was there in that virata. It rushed. What should I occupy? I will occupy the nose, it says, and went and occupied the nose of this human figure. And then the dishas are their directions. They rushed and occupied the ears. And the fire occupied the mouth. And then what else happened? Then the stomach, the navel was occupied by the apana vayu, and Yama went and settled down there. He says, if you eat too much, that's it, I will take you up. If you eat too less also, I will take you up. If you eat correctly only, I will allow you to live. So that is how Yama occupied the navel and started taking care of the excretion as well as final removal of the soul from the body. That is Yama's job. And then what else happened? Skin formed, and the trees and plants, they became the skin. They occupied the skin, it seems. So that's why hair keeps growing on its own, like grass keeps growing. We cannot stop the hair from growing, like we can't stop grass from growing. So that kind of a growth started from the skin, it seems. This is the poetic imagination. And then what else he says? The moon went and settled down in the mind, it seems, and became the power of thinking and attraction. All of them occupied their places, but the heart remained unoccupied. Everybody, from heart came the mind was occupied by moon, but heart itself was not occupied by anything. So then this God thought, all this I have created, where should I go and stay in this? Like a father creates a big house for all the children, 8-bedroom house for all 8 children. But he wants to ask, where do I stay? Should I stay with this son or that daughter or this son? Then he says, no. I should have a master bedroom of my own. So he said, I shall occupy the heart. But how to enter the heart? All the holes are occupied, eyes are occupied, nose are occupied. See, we have got 10 holes in our body. All 10 have been occupied by somebody or the other. Varuna has occupied the reproduction also. Yama has occupied the excretion. Navel is apana. Nose is occupied by prana. Eyes are occupied by surya. Mind is occupied by chandra. Ears are occupied by disha. Mouth is occupied by fire. No holes left. So how do I enter this body? He thought to himself. I also want to stay in this house. Should I go from the back door, front door, side door? Which door? Because all these are like doors to this body. Then he said, I will make a new door for myself and I'll enter. And he, it seems, opened a hole right on top of the skull where the hair parts. It's called Vidruti. And using that, he entered the heart of the first being, human being. And therefore, Brahman resides in the heart, they say. And where is the heart? Where do you place your hand to show that you are here? You place it here? You place it here? You place it? Naturally your hand goes here. Nobody points their stomach. Nobody points their head, ears, nose. They always put their hand here. Why? Because somehow we all know instinctively that this is where our true self is. We recognize ourselves as this. This is where Brahman resides, is what is said. That is where Jivatma resides, because Brahman entered the body through a hole in the head. Don't go and search for a hole. There is no real hole. It's in the Sukshma Sharira, through which he has entered, and he is staying in the heart. But remember, we have seen Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, Karan Sharira. So physical body is just the vessel. Within that, the mind sheath is there, prana is there, vijnana is there, buddhi, and anandamaya is there. So this Brahman entered and he resides in the Anandamaya sheath. He doesn't reside in the Vijnanamaya, he doesn't reside in the Manomaya, he doesn't reside in the Pranamaya, he doesn't reside in the Annamaya. He resides in the Anandamaya sheath. That is called Karana Sharira. But if Brahman is not there, none of this will work. It's like when battery is not there, phone won't work. If electricity is not there, none of the gadgets will work. Likewise, unless this Jivatma is within ourselves, buddhi won't work, mind won't work, prana won't work, indriyas won't work. It is this which makes all the others work. So that is how Jivatma concept came into existence. But who is Jivatma ultimately? This Jivatma is born out of that Hiranyagarbha Virata. And Hiranyagarbha Virata is born out of what? Ishvara. Ishvara is born out of what? Brahman, beyond whom him there is nobody. So now go back and see the sequence. Brahman, Ishvara, Hiranyagarbha, Virata, Purusha. The first Jivatma you call it. Jivatma, and Jivatma has this body and Indriyas. And Indriya Arthas, which is to see, touch, taste, smell, all these faculties. So now you go back the shloka. Indriyebhya parahi artha. Arthas of the Indriyas are greater than Indriya, it is said. Why? Because it is for their sake Indriyas were created. When Brahman asked, where do you want to go and stay? Vision said, I want to stay in the eyes. Prana said, I want to stay in the nose. Fire says, I want to stay in the tongue. So whose sake the Indriyas were created? For Indriya Arthas' sake. What are Indriya Arthas? The faculties. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. So that is why these Indriya Arthas are greater than the Indriyas. You understand the sequence now? Indriyebhya parahi artha. Greater than Indriya are the Indriya Arthas, the Prana, Aditya, Chandrama, Yama, whatever. Arthebhyascha param manaha. But all these Indriyas are understood only when the mind is active. Therefore, mind is deeper than the Indriyas. Next. Manasastu para buddhi, but mind cannot function on its own unless buddhi guides it. Whether bad buddhi or good buddhi, the secondary thing. Buddhi is required. So buddhi guides this. Now what happens? Buddhi, Atma Mahan Paraha. Better, higher than buddhi is the Atman, because without that Atman, this buddhi cannot function. It provides the energy. Now you misuse the energy, that is your problem. If you use the energy well, good. So Atman provides the ultimate energy. So this is greater than that. But bigger than this Jivatma is who? That one from which this came. Where it came from? Before us, who was there? The Virata was there, or Hiranyagarbha was there. Virata is nothing but a modified Hiranyagarbha. So it says that Parama, Mahataha. Mahataha is that Hiranyagarbha is called Mahataha. Mahat is also called as Hiranyagarbha. Greater than is this Avyakta Purusha. Avyakta Purusha is this the Ishvara who has not been manifesting still, the one level higher than that. And then, because Ishvara was there, but he did not become anything so far. When did he become? When Hiranyagarbha, the gases and all that formed, that is when it manifested. Before that, there was no manifestation. It was only Brahman who was thinking. He didn't make anything out of it. So that Jiva will become human body. Before Jiva comes Virata, that is the Vyakta Purusha. Before Vyakta Purusha comes Avyakta Purusha, which is Ishvara, thinking Brahman, has not manifested yet. All his powers are within him, now he is thinking how to manifest. So that Avyakta Purusha came. Avyakta means unmanifest. Greater than Avyakta Purusha, that is Ishvara, who was there? Purusha. That is the Brahman is called Purusha, because Purusha, Puri means a city, and Shah means those one who is going and staying in the city, Shaya. Therefore, Brahman came and entered the human body. Finally, we remembered he came from the top and entered into our hearts. Therefore, the body which we are carrying around and the mind and the senses are manifest Brahman, because they are all born out of that Hiranyagarbha. Whereas that part of us which is occupied by the pure consciousness, unmanifest Brahman, the one in the beginning, is the Atman. So we are a combination of unmanifest and manifest Brahman, which is called as Saguna and Nirguna Brahman. So Jagat is the Saguna Brahman. The Atman within us is the Nirguna Brahman. That Atman is the spark, we say, of that ultimate supreme Brahman who never manifested. But what manifested? His powers manifested as the universe. And from there evolution happened from simply gases and liquids and matters with the combination of energies. Ultimately a human being was born like us from this single cell organism to now multiple complex organism. All this happened. The Aitareya Upanishad just speaks it in a one stanza. But if you go scientifically, it has taken millions and billions of years to happen. So this is how the whole sequence of things has happened. So now you go back and think, compared to the objects, compared to the Indriyas, the objectives of the Indriyas are more powerful. Compared to them, mind is subtler. Compared to the mind, Buddhi is subtler. Compared to the Buddhi, Atma is subtler. Compared to the Atma, this Avyakta Purusha is subtler. Avyakta Purusha, the Ishvara, is subtler. Compared to that Avyakta Purusha is the ultimate Purusha. Who is that? The Brahman, who is the subtlest. Like that, if you keep going back and back and back, you will ultimately reach that your origination is from the pure Brahman. And once you reach there, there is nothing more to reach. That is the highest. Beyond that is the highest floor. You can't go beyond that. Like that, this is the highest that one can attain in life. You become very strong in the body, you have not attained anything. You have very sharp senses, you have not attained anything. You have a very clever mind, you have not attained anything. You have got very sukshma intellect, very, very intelligent person, you have not attained anything. You think you are the Jivatma, you become a yogi and you can now use that to gain all kinds of powers, you have not attained anything. Beyond that, when you realize that you are that ultimate supreme Brahman, that is when you have attained. Otherwise, none of these attainments are attainments, is what these two shlokas are telling. Now you have to sit down and write down this, Indriya, this, Indriyabhya, Artha, this, Mana, this, Buddhi, this. Make a sequence for yourself so that this concept gets completely clear. So now you think like this, that who are we if we ask the question? Now how are you going to answer the question? I am Brahman only manifesting as a Jivatma in this body. This is your true description, new definition to yourself. This is what you are. You are not a multi-cell complex organism, no. You are not all the thoughts and emotions, no. You are not all your intelligence and cleverness, no. You are not even the experience of bliss and happiness, no. Beyond all these lies the super consciousness. That is you. So all of us are Brahman manifesting as Jivatman in this body-mind complex. Neither we are male nor we are female. Neither we are rich nor we are poor. Neither we are young nor we are old. Neither we are happy nor we are sad. Neither we are intelligent nor we are dull. What are we? We are same Brahman manifesting as Jivatma in the body-mind complex. This is our true definition. Now meditate on this definition. How will you meditate? This is the step. First think of your indriyas. Inside indriyas are my faculties like Sabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Sagandha. That is installed in my mind. Mind is further dependent on the Buddhi. Buddhi is originating from the Jivatman. Jivatman has originated from the Brahma. Therefore I am Brahman. When you say Aham Brahma, this is the logic. Aham Brahma. Why Aham, this body, Aham Buddhi, Aham Mana, why do we don't say? We say Aham Brahma, this is the logic. One by one, when you withdraw, peel and peel and peel and peel, and finally you will reach the center which cannot be further peeled. That is Brahman. That is what you are. Prajnanam Brahma, Ayamatma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. All these are nothing but this logic, which rishis have found out by constant meditation. And Aitareya Upanishad has mentioned it like this. It's a wonderful story you can read. And all those who are science students can sit down and actually compare with the theories of evolution, right from Big Bang to everything else, the universe expansion theory, all kinds of things. Aitareya won't tell it in so many words. It will do it very quickly. But you will realize that fundamentally this rishis knew how this creation came about. But they told it in a very short way. And now scientists are splitting the hair and finding out how. And slowly they're going back to the ideas that actually only consciousness exists. They're coming to that. And the coming years will be research in the field of consciousness to prove or to disprove, whichever way they will approach it, that consciousness, a super intelligence exists in this universe. And that runs this universe, nothing else. This is what scientists will finally come and conclude at the end. And where did this matter come from? It came from that energy which is the intelligence. And that intelligence knew everything about how to create, how to make an amoeba, how to make a paramecium, how to make a hydra. Onwards it knew how to make dinosaurs, how to make human beings, how to make earth, water, sky. All the intelligence, like in DNA, all our genes are embedded. That one little seed knows the entire tree. That one DNA knows the entire human being. Likewise, that super consciousness original knew everything. And because of its knowledge, it just sprouted and became a tree. This is how the universe has happened.